Do you feel caught inside your head? Do you feel life just happens to you, stressed out and or overwhelmed sometimes? Learn how to get your power back and live a more balanced life. Aloha everyone and welcome to your podcast for Joyful Serenity. My name is Pia and I am grateful to be a part of your journey in becoming. It's been some pretty intense weeks and also months. At least for me, that's what I'm feeling. Whenever you are listening to this podcast episode, I'm talking about being in October 2020 right now and just coming back from one of the first weekends live trainings and also one of my personal development workshops here in Germany. And for me personally, this was one of the most intense weekends I had in months. Actually, I think over 7 months. It's been over 7 months that I had like a full weekend with just appointments and great stuff, and also intense because live in person, and of course a lot of energy just happening and a lot of impressions to absorb. And I'm pretty sure that even when you're not traveling on the weekends or if you're not self-employed, that you can relate with this feeling of being overwhelmed with everything. At least this is what happened to me when I came back from this very beautiful and intense weekend here in Germany. I came back home and I really just felt like I didn't even know where to start. I knew I had to unpack my stuff and that I needed to wash my clothes, and that I also wanted to plan the schedule for the next week. But it was already Monday, so usually I'm taking the Sundays to prepare the next week. But I have been pretty lazy with that the last weeks, and this is one of the things that I found out that just got me in the position of feeling that things were happening to me and that I was just so overwhelmed with everything. And it took me quite some time, I think 24 hours, like one day. I talked about it with a friend yesterday. So it took me one day to really get back into my energy and back into my power. And I think many of you can relate. And maybe these times also take longer for you. And that's totally fine. Please don't worry about you taking time for things. There's just a difference between taking time, making time, and being aware of it, or things just feeling like they happen to you. Maybe you understand where this is going to. To take your power back and to live a more balanced life, the first thing you need to do is acknowledge that there's a lot going on right now. And I will now introduce you to 3 steps that help me regularly when things get a little messy or a lot. And if you know me, you know that I am happily a powerhouse. And I'm in Germany, you would say I'm dancing on many weddings. So I have a lot of projects that I really all love so much, and it needs some structure. And for that structure, I need to be in my full potential and in my strength. So here are 3 steps that help me to really live a more balanced life and to take my power back whenever I feel that I got lost or I lost it somewhere. So the first thing is there's a way if you want for almost everything in life. Remember, there is a way if you want. First step is make a decision. I want to take my power back. I want to get back into my center. This is very important. Making a decision and also having an intention while you do it. So besides saying, I am taking my power back, I want to take my power back, you need an intention. So a why. For your subconscious, it's really important that you tell yourself why you want to do something, because otherwise it's not important. For me, for example, would be, I want to take my power back to live a more balanced life, and so I can be there for others better. So this is why I need to take my power back. This is my responsibility. So first make a decision and put it in to an intention, or combine it with an intention. Write it down to make it even more stronger, because maybe if it's just inside your head, it's not really materialized. So writing it down out of your head onto paper gives it a whole different level of credibility for yourself. And when you do make this decision on, I want to take my power back to live a more balanced life, for example, you're taking responsibility. You're owning your situation. You are taking responsibility. So you are able to respond responsibility. And this is a power you always have. It is your decision how you want to respond. You're always able to respond to anything. The second step to take back your power is compassion. Allow yourself to leave some space for wonders. The sentence, even if I don't know how, combined with your decision to take my power back and live a more balanced life, I will, step 3, take the next best step into this direction. So step A, making a decision with an intention. Number 2, being compassionate with yourself and leave space for wonders. Even if I don't know how to do it as a whole, I will now do the next best step into this direction. Number 3, action. So what you're doing with these 3 steps is you're breaking a cycle. Oftentimes we are caught inside our heads. It's a mix between fear and sorrow and worries that keeps us inside our mind and doesn't allow us to open up for other opportunities, because we're so caught up with all these emotions and all these thoughts. But thoughts and emotions are nothing stable. They're leaving, they're coming, they're going. Remind yourself that whatever you are feeling is a moment, just a small moment in time, and feelings can change. Maybe you have experienced it, that feelings change during a day, maybe from one second to another. You know that music has a big impact on mood and overall feeling. So remind yourself that whenever you feel life happens to you, that there is a chance that life happens for you. Especially in these very moving, intense times. At least that's what I'm feeling right now. Really allow yourself to reflect and take your time to make a decision, to take responsibility for your own power. It's totally fine to feel overwhelmed. It's totally fine that sometimes you feel life happens to you and not for you. The question is, how long will you stick with this feeling? Or are you able to be aware that you are feeling overwhelmed and stressed out, and then making a decision of taking responsibility, setting your intention, having compassion and space for wonders, even if I don't know how, I will do the next best step into the direction. Number 3, action. And this could be a very small step, like a very small step. This might be just sitting down with yourself and making yourself a cup of tea and having 5 minutes for yourself. This might be taking 3 or 4 deep inhales and exhales wherever you are. Maybe jumping out of the situation at work where you are and just get yourself on the toilet, because that's the place where you're actually usually on your own. And then just breathe, close your eyes and be present. We often think we need to climb the mountain in one day, when really it's the small differences that make the big difference. And it's the small steps that make you successful and succeed in whatever you want to do. If you want to climb a mountain, first of all, you make the decision that you want to climb the mountain. And then you will be compassionate with yourself and say, all right, this is where I am right now. So to make it happen, I need to make some space for things to evolve. And even if I don't know how, I'm going to manage this. I will now start to action. What could you do to climb the mountain? You could read about it, you could share experiences with people who have done the mountain already, who know about the difficulties and about the challenges that will await you. You can then think about yourself. What are your fears? What are your sorrows? What are your worries with the situation and with your project? Whatever the mountain is that you want to climb. These are all small little action steps, and make sure you acknowledge them. It's not what happens on social media all the time. People actually do things out of social media. So please feel free to let go of the pressure of someone else is doing it this way or that way. Just allow yourself to focus on yourself and how you can take the responsibility to take your power back and live the life you want. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode gave you a little push, maybe a little lovely support on your journey in life. Thank you also for reviewing and rating my podcast on Apple Podcasts. And I hear you and I talk to you soon. Aloha.